about the freaking Cowboys.
Hey, by the way, real quick, because I said this off the air, I got to give a plug to my buddy Ben Franklin, who is our Cowboys writer at thefantasygreek.com. I just posted his article. You need to run out there if you're a Cowboys fan or just a football fan and read it, because he did such a good job, given all this controversy, to sort of take the higher road and just talk about it in terms of football. Check it out. It's on our homepage at the top. Cowboys lose heartbreaker to Packers. No words can describe it. Ben Franklin, my man.
All right. All right. So conference championship games going forward. The NFC Championship, Green Bay at Seattle. I tell you, that Seattle defense that smoked Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl last year, it is back. It is back with a vengeance. And now the Packers are traveling to Seattle, a place where they went in week 1, and it wasn't all that pretty. And if Aaron Rodgers' mobility is hampered even in the littlest bit, I worry that he makes it out of this game alive. I know that's an exaggeration. Going into Seattle, the Packers have been playing really, really good football. Aaron Rodgers has been spot on and flawless, even with the injury. You cannot take anything away from him. He has to be the best quarterback in the league right now. But I'm picking the Seahawks in this game.
Oh, I'm definitely. I mean, I picked my two teams going to the Super Bowl in the beginning of the season were the Seahawks and the Patriots, and I'm sticking to that. I mean, like you said, if Aaron Rodgers was 100%, I think it's a different story. But the fact that he is, hobbled, and of all the people, I think the two players playing the best right now are Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers is playing good, but Tom Brady and Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson is playing incredible football right now. So even though their defense is doing better, I think he is going to just destroy Green Bay's defense.
I have to agree with you guys. The Seahawks here, to me, playing at home, they definitely have the edge in the game, and I like what their defense has been doing since they came out of their bye week and sort of got together, got through their injury bug. And you've got one of the toughest secondaries that's going to take on, a very good group of wide receivers, but they match up with these guys. I like Devontae Adams. I liked him this past week and have a phenomenal game, and boy, did he impress. So I could still see Devontae doing something. It should be a close game. A medium scoring score, I don't know, 24-21, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like right around that range, you say.
Yeah.
I agree.
And Marshawn Lynch, if he has a big game, forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at last week's games, and you got to tip your cap to the Packers for quote unquote holding DeMarco Murray to 123 yards and only a touchdown, because their run defense is their Achilles heel, and the way that the Cowboys have been running the ball all year, it very well could have been worse, or maybe should have been worse. But at the end of the day, they were holding off, or they came back and then very nearly lost that game if it hadn't been for that horrific call, which we're not going to bring up anymore. So going into Seattle, and again, I know Week 1 was a lifetime away, and teams mature, teams gel, teams progress, I guess is a better word. I don't really see them going into Seattle and winning this game. I just don't see a way it's possible unless, Richard Sherman tears his ACL in the first quarter.
Well, and the way I look at it is if Aaron Rodgers was 100% healthy to where he'd be able to run around, I think Green Bay would have a very good chance in this game. But the fact that he is hobbled, there's just no way he's going to be able to play against Seattle's defense the way he played against Dallas. Because in that Dallas game, I mean, he was running for his life or limping for his life against Dallas's defense, which is improved, but it's still not near the level of Seattle's. So to me, I think there's too many cards stacked against him.
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to think of all the different angles possible in this game. You got Aaron Rodgers versus the Seahawks defense. You've got Eddie Lacy, who is that big bruising back like Marshawn Lynch, but Seattle's defense is just too good, like we've said. I mean, it's going to take like an all-time great game by Aaron Rodgers for the Packers to win this.
Here's the thing: if the Seahawks can get to Aaron Rodgers and not just put pressure on him, but physically touch him, they will win this football game. I don't think Aaron's got too much left. I mean, he's close to being on the sidelines, being taken to the locker room for tests.
Yeah. Yeah, it might not.
Because last week, I mean, that offensive line did a phenomenal job against the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. That they did.
Yeah.
All right, and over on the AFC, you have the Indianapolis Colts traveling to the New England Patriots, the old guard of the AFC, possibly a symbolic, attempt at passing the torch. The Patriots have just been playing really, really good football. They kind of exorcised the demon by beating Baltimore last week, even though it did not look like, for the full 4 quarters, like that was how it was going to end up. But Tom Brady and company, Bill Belichick and company, find a way to get it done. A little controversy over some substitutions, which I think John Harbaugh should just shut up, but that's just me. It's in New England. Let me tell you something. If the Colts go into New England and pull this off, then this is the passing of the torch. And Andrew Luck is one of those. We already know he's one of those special talents, but he will be climbing that ladder when you talk about who are the best quarterbacks in that league even more. I think he's got to be in the top 3 right now. I'd say, it was Aaron Rodgers, Brady, Manning, Luck in that conversation. It might be Rodgers and Luck by the time this is all done. I'm picking the Patriots at home, though.
Yeah, I'm sticking Patriots. They're playing really well right now. I mean, you can't get behind like they did with Baltimore again. I think they need to try to, recovering from 2 14-point deficits is ridiculous for any team to do in this level of play. So, but also I think Brady is playing so well right now. I mean, their defense is playing well, but Brady's just playing outstanding football at the moment. So I can't see Indianapolis going to New England, which I believe any one of those teams, be it Indy or Denver, was cringing about the thought of going to New England in the winter, in the postseason, and taking on Brady and Belichick. I mean, it's a Herculean task right there.
No, last year they played in New England, and New England won 43-22. They played on November 16th this past during the regular season, and New England won 42-20. I just don't see a different result. Jim?
Well, let me first start off by saying when I did our fantasy playoff rankings for Survivor Leagues, I had envisioned a Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl, and I'm not gonna back away from that. I think the Patriots have done all the right things, especially on offense, to make their team the best in the AFC, and especially at home. I mean, the fact that they had home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs, to me, really sounded the death knell of any other team's hopes of making it to the Super Bowl. All that having been said, the Colts impressed the crap out of me last week. Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you go up against – name the wide receivers for the Broncos. Demaryius Thomas, Julius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Wes Welker. C.J. Anderson didn't have the greatest of games. I mean, their defense stepped up and shut them down on the road in a tough place to play. So if any team I think is out there that could possibly beat the Patriots, it's these upstart Colts. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. But that having been said, if I were a betting man, I wouldn't bet against the Patriots at home in Gillette Stadium. I think they're that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a tough place to play in the playoffs. Well,
I just think they play better there. That's where they want to be. Last year when they played in Mile High, you sort of fall behind the eight ball in a game, and suddenly you even feel like you're not in a happy place. You fall behind the eight ball playing at home, your fans are sitting there pushing you, and you've got incentive to play, some sort of something additional. And in big games like this, I like to think that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Because everything else is there.
It'd be very interesting to see where the Colts go from here.
Yeah. I'd also add that the Patriots should have better luck establishing a running game compared to what happened last week against the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, will go a long way to opening up their passing game.
They're very similar defensively. They're not as good against the pass as you would think, but the Patriots are actually a little bit better in the run game, the run defense than you think. Top 10 defense against the run. The Colts, on the other hand, at 18th. But there's only a few yards per game difference. That's why they jump. They seem similar when you first look into it. So,
yeah.
So we're both picking the Patriots, or we're all picking the Patriots, or we're all picking the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say we're right. Who's the Super Bowl winner?
Well, I take us back.
Shouldn't we talk about that in a week or so?
We can, because we're probably not going to be right. But
well, go ahead if you want to talk about it.
My early, when we talked about this in the beginning of the season, I said it was going to be Seattle and New England. And
you did
Seattle
not, did you?
I absolutely did. Seattle, New England, with Seattle winning, and I stick with that.
Keith, you double check that.
I will find.
I'm 1,000% sure I said that.
Oh.
1,000% Seattle and New England, because it was Seattle and Green Bay. It was the only two. I always thought New England was going to make it. Seattle and Green Bay were the only two I was kind of waffling on, but I said I'm going to stick with Seattle just because they look too tough. And Seattle, I picked them to beat New England.
Listen to you, Merlin.
Yeah,
it's the truth. Come on.
I'll take Seattle. I picked them in the preseason. I believe. You could check me on that.
I'm scanning around this room trying to find my folder with everybody's picks in it.
Yeah, because I want to know who won, by the way. I know we've sort of at the end there.
Oh, yeah, you won that game. You won that.
Really?
You get another beer stein.
Oh, maybe I should get something different.
I was just going to say, I'll get you something else from the vast, like Vanna White with the Wheel of Fortune prize room.
Maybe I should get an 87 sports fan tee or polo just so I could wear that around.
There you go. Get you a golf shirt.
Polo.
Oh, by the way, while you're looking for that right now, Keith, 35-20 Buckeyes with 4 minutes left.
Yeah,
looks like Ohio State's championship.
I tweeted my idea for the headline: Urban Renewal.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
It's perfect.
You couldn't have waited till we were off the air to say that.
No, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. 237 yards rushing for Ezekiel Elliott for Ohio State.
Crazy.
How many yards was that?
237 rushing yards.
Wow.
Marcus Mariota did leave the game with an injury. Just for the record.
Ooh. That's not good.
Very interesting.
He'll be the number 1 draft pick.
Yeah.
Either him or Jameis if somebody's going to take a chance on the off the field stuff. But
I don't think so.
If Johnny Manziel was a risk, what is Jameis Winston? Honestly.
Yeah, but that Johnny Manziel not paying off, I think, is going to make it more difficult for Winston.
Well, no, if
Manziel paid off, then
I totally agree. And Jameis Winston's going to sink in this draft. He's got nobody to blame but Johnny Manziel
and himself.
Well, okay, yes, I suppose you were right there, Stephen.
But once again, Mariota, see what I said is even if they lose, he has a good game. He was still 22 for 31, 311 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks.
Yep.
And he rushed 9 times for 32 yards. That's still a fantastic game.
For anybody
what I
else.
think's impressive about him is his arm strength.
Yeah.
He knows how to hit a receiver in stride. He looks like he makes solid football decisions. Yeah. I don't like to see him scramble as much as he does. I know I've heard people say that's sort of the real NFL, the reality of NFL football today, and I don't agree with that. But he's sort of got the skills to be an NFL pro football quarterback.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's
Is he Andrew Luck? I don't think so.
No. There's just certain things that every now and he takes care of the ball. I mean, the guy doesn't
Right.
turn the